Good morning, everybody. It's time for our comprehension. And I'm sure you guys are wondering why I'm sitting here with a globe. Now, our heading for our comprehension this week is called Everest. Now, Everest is the highest mountain peak, and it is part of a mountain range that we find. Let me just move Earth a little bit here. If you guys can have a look, there is India. There's India, and if we go up to India, towards Tibet and Nepal, there's a mountain range called the Himalayas. And the highest peak of the Himalayas is called Mount Everest. And that's what our story is going to be all about. So it is a real mountain on Earth, on our planet, and you guys did continents and oceans the other day, so I'm sure you guys know exactly where we will find India. Okay, I'm going to read as we normally do. I will stop and explain things if I'm not sure. Oh, you guys are not sure. Hope I'm sure. Everest, it wasn't until the 1930s that Mount Everest, standing on the border, so it's like a natural border, like the Orange River is a natural border between us and South Africa, on the border of Tibet and Nepal, was officially recognized as the highest point on earth. Now, officially means people might have speculated and say, yes, we're sure that must be the highest, but they actually went, they measured the highest points of all the mountains, and it was made official. It's like write it down somewhere, put on an official stamp, it is true. There's no other mountain peak that is as high as Mount Everest. The mountain stretches so high up into the atmosphere. Now, you guys know atmosphere? That's the layer around the earth. Okay? That the air becomes very thin, making it impossible to breathe without an oxygen supply. Now, we read a few weeks ago in Man on the Moon, because there's no proper oxygen available and all kinds of other gases, so they had to take oxygen tanks with. Now, if you're going up all the way to the peak, they call it the summit, to the peak of the Mount Everest, you need to have oxygen as well. Because when it gets too thin, it's like you're suffocating, you don't get enough oxygen. It is so cold that no animal or plants can survive on its highest slopes. Now, I was looking on my laptop on Google to try and find a very nice picture for you guys. Because on your paper there's a printed picture, but it doesn't give it justice. Um, so if you can Google and have a look at what the mountain looks like in real life, it's all the time covered with snow, and because it's so high, it's always icy cold up there. It's not a matter of the snow will melt and then it's warm. Um, it is very, very cold. By 1953, at least 10 expeditions. Now, expedition is when people planning to travel to an unknown place, and they have to either travel, for instance, in the desert, they will travel with camels or they will take donkeys. They need animals, so to put on all their luggage. Remember, they need to take tents and warm blankets and things along. Food, water supply, emergency supplies, and everything that they need, all the gear that they need. These guys can't carry it because how can you climb when your hands are both busy carrying stuff? So they have this whole group of people. You won't go to the peak of Mount Everest um, by yourself. That's super super dangerous. So you will have a guide to show you, a person from the local area, and they will guide you. You follow them because they know exactly what's going on. They know the weather, everything, and you have to have everything that you need. So that whole contraption, if you may call it that, is called an expedition. Had set out to climb the 8,848 kilometers to the summit of Everest. Now, guys, that is That is 8,8 kilometers. Now, a kilometer, 8 kilometers is 40 kilometers from here to Swakopmund. So almost by Aphrodite, Long Beach, in that vicinity is about halfway. That's about 20. So say Aphrodite is about 8 kilometers. So imagine the mountain so high from Walvis Bay to Everest, and you have to climb all the way. Okay, to the summit of Everest. Summit is the peak, highest little point. But all of them failed in the attempt. Attempt is we're going to try it. We don't know what's going to happen, but these guys failed. They met with fierce snowstorms, dangerous ice, and bottomless chasms. Now, chasms is all part of the structure of mountains. Um, it's like cliffs close to each other, and there's this hole in between them, and you don't know where they're ending. They say bottomless, so it means it doesn't have a bottom. So if you fall in there, you're in danger, you're dead. And the lives of many brave climbers were lost. In March of that year, another expedition was mounted to conquer this mighty mountain. So to conquer is, yes, I'm the champ, I did it. So you conquered it, I managed to do it. Their plan was to set up 8 camps along the way to the summit. Then 2 men would be chosen to make the final climb of 1,000 meters to the top. So it's not, it's easy. We're quickly going to walk a kilometer. It is steep climbing, you know, those little hammers, and they all connected with ropes, and they need to climb. It's extremely dangerous and difficult. You have to have experience, you have to practice a lot. So it's not anybody can wake up one morning and decide I'm going to climb Mount Everest. Okay, and they make little camps because you can only climb a certain amount of feet, or it's getting too snowy, or it's too cold, or people are exhausted, or you're starting to struggle breathing. Lots of things to keep in mind, and they set up tents. So the climb was as difficult and dangerous as they expected. Slowly but surely, they edged their way upwards. It's like on the side. Remember, if the mountain is like this, you're not climbing here, you climb on the edge of the mountain. When the final camp had been set up, 2 men left to make the last attack on the summit. Hours later, they were forced to return to camp. The weather was getting worse, and there was time for only one last attempt. Edmund Hillary from New Zealand and Tenzing Norgay of Nepal were picked. I think this guy from Nepal must have been the guy. It looks like it. But Edward Hillary is famous for reaching Mount Everest. With a great effort of bravery, strength, and skill, they made their way upward and onwards. 2 days later, they still had not reached the summit. Once more, they had to sleep in their tiny tent, only a few hundred meters from the top. A blizzard. Now, a blizzard is like a snowstorm, but I think we don't experience it here, so I haven't been in one. But I think a blizzard is colder and it's more icy kind of texture. Blew over them, and they were so near but yet so far. It's like they can see the summit, but they just can't get there. However, on May 29th, 1953, to their delight, amusement, excitement, you can use all those words, and surprise, Hillary and Tenzing awoke to find calm and sunny weather. Later that morning, they became the first people to climb the highest mountain in the world. Can you believe it, eh? Nobody else did it before. They were the first people. So there's not signs saying you have to walk there or be careful for that. You have to experience it all by yourself. Amazing. And this is really part of history. It happened. It's not a little story. Okay, hope you enjoyed that. So let's quickly read the questions. Where is Mount Everest? Now, before I carry on, remember we start with our heading. The name of the date, the name of the comprehension is Everest. rule a line, and then we start numbering on the left hand side next to the margin. Do not number from 1 to 8 from the start, because you don't know if you might need 2 lines. Start with a capital letter, answer in full sentences, and as far as possible, use your own words. Do not copy complete sentences from the piece unless, like the man on the moon, you had to write down Neil Armstrong's own words in inverted commas. Okay, so that's quite important. So, where is Mount Everest? Just don't give me a country's name. Put it in a complete sentence. Number 2, how high is it, the Mount Everest? Number 3, give 4 reasons why Everest is such a difficult mountain to climb. Now you will be able to read in the second paragraph where they explain a bit about what it looks like and everything. But I think by just sitting, you can imagine yourself 3 reasons why it will be a very difficult mountain to climb. Number 4, how many expeditions had failed to climb the mountain by 1953? They give you a certain number. Please don't just answer the question by putting the number, write it in a full sentence. What was the plan of the next expedition? Remember, they need to change now the plan. How are they going to deal with this now? Number 6, who were chosen to make the final attempt? It's the 2 guys. Okay. Number 7, what were they delighted to see on the morning of the 29th May 1953? And then number 8, list the qualities needed to make a good mountain climber. Now, qualities is almost like characteristics. So if I want to be a netball player, it will be good if I'm fit. I need to be very fast on my feet, and you need to practice frequently. So those are the characteristics of being a netball player. If you want to be a swimmer and you want to participate all the way in the Olympic Games, you need to practice diligently. You need to be um, uh, uh, um, not afraid of water, of course. You need to be very disciplined in your training. You need to um, obey the rules. You need to follow your coach's instructions. And that kind of things. Those are the kind of qualities they're talking about. But I want to know, list the qualities needed to make a good mountain climber. So they mentioned a few adjectives, words describing a climber. And don't say kind person. That won't work. Don't say a friendly person or a tall person. Imagine yourself climbing there, and they gave a few very nice words that you guys can put in there. Okay, and that is our comprehension. Nice chatting to you guys. See you next time. Bye bye.